I want to dispel some myths around fascia training and hyperarch fascia training. Fascia training is an umbrella like muscular training, but hyperarch fascia training is one of a kind because it trains the foot to glutes and core connection through training of the arc through the mind to body connection. This is very, very unique. There are many brands of fascial training, but they are not the same. So first, that has to be distinguished. You have to understand hyperarch fascia training, the one that I'm talking about, the one that I'm training athletes for, is very unique. We have 2 world champions, one in the UFC, 2-time UFC champion Zhang Weili, and Gabriel Emmanuel, who is a junior world champion decathlon. And we got here not by following mainstream training advice. Lifting weights? No. We did it because we understand the modern autonomy of fascia dissection. Doing this dissection, scientists have discovered that when you keep the fascia, they realize that the gluteus maximus muscle, or the gluteus maximus, if I pronounce correctly, attaches to the fascial lata and fascial inserts, and that's 80% of it or more. It's not what you see in the textbook today, where you have a gluteus maximus and it directly attached to the femur. In fact, the fiber directly attached from the muscle to the femur is only 20%. So this is why majority of the people, they have been training years in the gym, they still have very limited results because their body as a whole are not fascially integrated, okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing that people have to understand is that the fascia itself can contract, and that's my colleague Dr. Robert Schneip's research. It does contract. If you remove the fascia and you just have the muscular contraction by itself, it actually reduces the force. It's a very special tissue, especially in the glutes. It requires fascial tension. And how do you get that? It has to be gathered from the feet. You have to train your feet properly in order to build this connection. The third, I think the biggest mistake about understanding fascia is fascia and muscle, they are not separated. They're not independent, right? That's correct. So when we say hyperarch fascia training, what do we mean? Do we mean we don't train the muscle? No. We are also training the muscle, but we're training from a fascia perspective. We're integrating the fascia better with your gluteus maximus muscle, with the rest of your muscle groups you have in the body, thereby creating a more sound structure. Now, if you think about this, a lot of compensation patterns, why do they happen? Well, some people have hip flexor overactivation issues. For example, well, is the glutes activated? We use a MIT invented milestone which measures the tissue stiffness on the elite athlete's glutes, and we measure it at rest and when they are active. Guess what? When they're at rest, it's semi-soft, but when they are active, it's rock solid. Now, is this true in average people's body? No. In average people's body, sometimes if you do a lot of hip thrusts, it's exactly opposite. When you're at rest, we measure your tissue stiffness, the muscle becomes the stiff tissue, but the fascia is not really activated. And when you start exercising, like running or jumping, we measure again, and then the glutes is soft. It's not being used in the same way as these professional or Division I athlete. There is a huge misunderstanding in the human body, which is being revealed from the hyperarch fascia training. We have Division I athletes use my training, they can tell you the difference. We have professional athletes that use the training, they can tell you the difference. We have world champions that use the training, they can tell you the difference. And now we have many kids who are in the range of 9 years old to 13 years old. They are using the training. There is a reason why we're developing the fascia foundation first rather than the muscle maturation, rather than the muscle, right? Your muscle develops later after your 18th. The muscle becomes more mature. The reason for that is the fascia is the infrastructure of the body. If it's not developed properly, okay, and you're trying to put weight on a dysfunction, it's only making it worse. And because we have modern day shoes, we are changing our biomechanics since a very young age. We're changing the fascial stimulation to the feet from a very young age, we simply don't have a naturalistic development. Now compare ourselves with the people in Brazil who play barefoot soccer or football every day. Their fascial system are developed much better than average people who dwell in the cities. And the reason why, a lot of coaches, they understand, oh, who, he's a farm boy, he's strong. Well, because the farm boy had a lot of barefoot activity. Have you ever visited Amish town in Pennsylvania? You will notice a lot of these kids are running around daily, barefooted, and their plantar fascia development is very, very good. And we also know from research that your foot, without proper stimulation, it actually grows longer every single year, little by little. So what does that mean? That means your plantar fascia, you really don't have an anchor. This is why a lot of people, they experience joint issues, because fascia is what holds us together. So if your fascia doesn't receive the information or stimulation to be strong, to integrate our body properly, then your body will adapt to it. It means, okay, yeah, I don't need to be that strong. Then of course you go do some activity like running or jumping, your joint don't like that, and you start to give you inflammatory signals. So these are the basic foundational factors that you should understand about fascia. Now, is Hyperarch Fascia Training holy grail? No, it's not. You still have to do a lot of work, but it's much more advanced, much more advanced than any other training out there. Do the basic 3 HFT exercise today and feel the difference in your body.